Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture, and today we're going to be talking about something that just kind of been on my chest for a while, kind of been weighing down on me, for like a while, for like the whole generation. I'm sure a lot of people feel this way too. Um, it's pretty much so a couple of days ago I was just talking with my partner, and we were just talking about stuff like that's been going on with like politics and everything, and we kind of came to the point of just seeing how just talked about all the things that are interesting about how people react to things now that we're in the Trump era of the presidency. But and we kind of just came to a lot of thoughts. So I decided to just take this moment and write it down and actually talk about it with you guys to maybe like kind of relate to anybody else that felt the same way or have noticed these observations. So I'll just jump into them, and if you can relate, just leave a comment below and let me know what you think. The first thing I want to talk about is, so this whole thing, the whole subject about this video is pretty much the minorities in America. And I feel like there's been a lot of awkwardness going on with all the stuff that we've been learning due to the presidency and everything. Like, we've learned there's a lot of things that's been going on. So one of the things I noticed is that as a minority, I've noticed that whenever I go towards, and this is not a anti-white kind of thing, but it's one of the things I have to point out, it's just like when I go around other white people that are working, or doing something, we go near each other, is like the ones that you get three people. You get the ones that know who you are, or just naturally themselves, and just like treat you like a person, you know? And then you have the other side of the people that now, since Trump is in office, like with all the stuff that's been happening, it's just their opportunity now to get all their racism out and say whatever they want to whoever they want, specifically to the minorities, like women, blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, Latinas, all the minorities, like Asian, transgender people. It's just like gays and stuff like that. So it's just like there's a weird uncomfortability that goes on, and so there's that side. There's the side of it, just like, I don't give a fuck. It's like racist that. Like, they should go back to Africa, or they should go back to Mexico, whatever. Then you get the ones that are just extremely nice, like a little overly nice, you know? Like, they just get at first, just for example, there's been times where I go into like a brewery and like had it like to get it like a beer and cider, and just like there'll be people that'll be super, super overly nice and very like careful what they say around me and stuff like that. And I notice that other people, like other minorities, will happen too, like especially like with women and everything. It's just like people say, like, I don't know how to talk to women. I don't know how to approach some people. I don't know if I'm going to say something wrong or if I'm going to say something off, you know? And honestly, it's not that hard of a thing to deal with. It seems that people are just very into their heads about stuff. Like, I don't think everybody is racist. I think everybody's a little bit racist, of course, but I don't think everybody is acting out everybody acts out their racism or their sexism or anything. But I think that because of with the surprising amount of people that have been accused during this Me Too movement, it's very shocking. It's weird. It's like, holy shit, I didn't know that these many people that are taking advantage of women like this, you know? And not even women now. Like, we're opening so many more doors into what's happening now. Like, the Black Lives Matter, we opened that door because we're now realizing there's a lot of people that actually do not feel do not respect black people, you know? Like, they never, like, it's always been a situation, but this election has opened so many doors of, like, revealing how racist America is, or how intolerant America is, that we swept under the rug for so many years and, like, dealt with little like, tiny pieces of it, but never really dealt with the huge, like, big picture of it. And I think we're finally realizing that we need to. And so I think that it's a blessing. It's a bittersweet moment in the world, right? In America right now. So the next thing I want to talk about was President Donald Trump, and honestly, he's the reason that I honestly think that he's the reason that everything kind of is folding and shaping themselves so we can be a better country. And I love which is one of the reasons why I love the country. It's just like we're not perfect, and we're very arrogant and very stubborn when it comes to stuff that we want to deal with. But when it comes to stuff that we want to get together and fix, it seems like the people, at least, are very, 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 like, very passionate about fixing it, you know? And I know that we don't really get everything fixed because, honestly, we're not the people that make that happen, you know? We fix some things, but honestly, we're under a lot of people that they don't see it that way. There's like a handful of people in other parts of the country that just, like, are very hard stuck onto what the 60s were like, the 50s, and the back in the day and everything. It's just like, but what America is realizing is that we need to evolve. We need to start understanding. We need to educate ourselves and better ourselves from there, so we can get along with more people, as we are the melting pot, and we have a lot of people coming in. A lot of people come, like, as much as the president doesn't want that to happen, but we do have a lot of people coming in, and so we need to educate ourselves with different cultures and different things and different slurs are not meant to be said or anything, you know. Another thing I wanted to talk about is just, like, going back to what I was saying about the how people treat me during the being a minority. I'm curious to see how, like, women even feel about this. Like, I'm sure people are like, I'm sure women are like, you don't have to be this nice to me. Like, why are you so uncomfortable, you know, like, talking to me? Like, we can talk like normal people. Like, I said during the conversation with my partner, I was like, I think we just want to be treated like humans, you know? Us minorities just want to be treated like humans. Like, when you see me come to your line in a store, or when you're taking my order, or when you come across me across the street, or you're approaching me, or you're sitting near the same seat that I'm sitting, like, it's not hard to just be nice and just know your cues and know your social cues, pretty much. And I think that people are overthinking exactly what that means, or they may not know. But that's the best thing about educating each other and understanding what's going on with how to deal with certain situations like that. But I also see the people that I understand that make it hard because they are. Now that there's a lot of revolutions going on, people feel a little revolution happy, you know. So one person will say a mistake and say something, and they're like, "You're canceled. You're gone. Hashtag blah blah blah's canceled party." You know, and it's like, or they'll snap at people before even thinking of, like, well, maybe he doesn't really understand what's going on. Let's check him out first. Let him or her, and let's see what they are thinking. You know, where is this coming from? Or was that a mistake? You know, was that a thought would that come out wrong? Or, you know, it's just like there's immediate, like, shutdown on people. And I think that I think that first, before we decide to rip off people's heads about things that they say or things that they do, like, check them first. Like, just, I don't know, I feel like people should just check each other first before you do it. Because I've seen on YouTube people say, like, like, we'll say an opinion and it doesn't fit the other opinion of the other person, so they'll just like, you're fucking weird, da 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 da, and they'll be super bitchy to each other, and it's just like, you know, certain opinions are not going to be your opinion, but that's a thing that you have to tolerate when it comes to those type of things. You have to tolerate that some people will not think the same way that you are, and you have to figure out you have to find a middle ground. You have to find whether this person is a bad person or this person needs to be educated. And I think that's usually the case at times, because people do need to be educated. There's a lot of things that a lot of people do not know. Like, there's a lot of things in California we don't really have. We have racism, but we don't really have racism, you know? We don't have the intense racism like the South does, or like the Middle East, like the Midwest does. Like, but we see a lot of people in LA and people all in California is like, racism is all over the place. They're being mean to us. And it's like, have you seen the racism that's going on in other states? Have you seen the racism going on in other countries? You know, it's much worse than what we have going on right now in our California bubble, you know? And so I really think that it just kind of just bugs me that these kind of people take it to 11 before they even understand what's even going on, you know? I don't know, that's just kind of thing, that's been my thought on what's been going on. I know it's been kind of tough for everybody, and I know we're getting to the end of, well, not the end, like, we have one more year, but we're getting close to the end of Trump's presidency. And there's a couple of things that are coming up that are good, and so hopefully things will get better by the time that he gets out or whatever. But I'm sure by the time that he's done, he's probably going to end up going to jail with all the stuff that's going on. But this has just been weighing on my mind for a while about what's been going on with how people treat each other in America, and I hope that eventually we kind of just choose to educate people first before we decide that this person needs to get his head bit off. Because I understand there are people out there who are just like, fuck, just like drag them, go into them, like they need to know. Like there's actual assholes out there that need that, but not everybody is an asshole, and not everybody has the same opinion that you do. And I think that before you snap at somebody, before you come at for somebody with your thoughts and your opinions, find a middle ground, find an understanding of them before you come to think that, like, oh, okay, this guy's an asshole, you know. For all the women and all the minorities out there, I really hope that you're doing okay. I hope everything goes well. I hope that you stay strong. We, as minorities, we are forced to be strong. We have no choice but to be strong. We have to be, because there's a lot of people out there that just will find any way to tear you down. So you just have to be find that strength that a lot of our ancestors have had to get us to this point of where we are. And I think that would really help us in the end. And also help, and I have my unsolicited advice, but just help out the other minorities that are going on, you know? Like, women and gays have been the power couple of the equal rights, you know, when it comes to those kind of things. Like, we go hand in hand, you know? And so it's just like, we need to like really protect each other and really, really help out each other, especially like with the Blacks and Latinos, like, especially that, like, there's so many comparisons, like, there's so many similarities that we could all kind of get to, you know. I know, for me as an Aboriginal American, I don't really have like forms exact roots on here, as I was born in Australia, but as a person, as a Aboriginal, we also see a lot of things like that. Don't even want to get into the Australians' racism and the way they treat us, but anywho, like, as a person like that, we need to stick together. We need to understand we educate ourselves on the cultures around us and understand that we are similar the more than we think, you know? So that's it. That's my thoughts of the day. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. How's it going for you? I hope everything's going okay. And I hope everybody stays strong, and I'll see you guys in the next video.